So some big news just dropped involving Francis Ngannou. He finally gets that big payday that he's been looking for what it seems like years now, but in all actuality, it's probably only been months. But he finally gets that huge matchup that he's been looking for since he left the UFC to go to PFL and sign that huge freedom contract where he could also do boxing along with MMA. But he finally gets Tyson Fury on October 28th in a huge matchup. He finally sticks it to the UFC and puts it right down their throat and leaves them in shambles. Usually when Ngannou drops news about whatever he's doing in his career, the UFC has to either match him or outdo him. We saw this when he dropped the news that he signed with PFL. The UFC immediately came out with the whole UFC 291 card, which was a huge deal, and it kind of overshadowed Ngannou. But I doubt anything that the UFC could do right now could overshadow this huge of a boxing matchup. And this is great for Ngannou. He finally gets all the money that he wanted. I'm assuming he's probably gonna get probably maybe 20 mil for this. We might see the official number that he'll get when the contract is signed, but overall, this is what he wanted, and he gets it. And it's huge for him. And honestly, I couldn't be more happy for Ngannou, and I couldn't be more excited to eventually watch this boxing matchup. And overall, this is the best thing for his career, and it somewhat kind of proves that you can succeed outside the UFC or be a UFC fighter, and if they're not paying you enough, you can go venture outwards and find other options and be successful there. But maybe not for all fighters, because again, Ngannou was already a decent name before he even left the UFC, so I doubt that many fighters will try to attempt to go outside and do big things outside of the UFC. I will have to mention this though. It does leave me worried because there is a negative outcome where Ngannou kind of just fades off into the distance and we totally forget about him, and he ends up going back to PFL and fighting total trash cans. And that outcome is if Fury just completely embarrasses him and puts him out in the first, second round or any of the early rounds and puts him out cold, then we're like, oh, Ngannou is nothing now. He's that guy, or to casual fans, he'll be known as that guy who left the UFC to go fight a big guy in Fury and just lose and get dominated. But overall, he's getting his money. But I just don't want to see that negative outcome that can happen. And this is also a very dangerous matchup, and we know this. No, I don't really expect Ngannou to win, but he does have a puncher's chance in this. Tyson Fury has been fighting guys who have immense power. There's no secret, Deontay Wilder is probably one of the more powerful guys in the entirety of combat sports, and Tyson Fury was able to take his best punches. And so do I think Ngannou's going to be able to KO Tyson Fury? Probably not. I think if Deontay Wilder couldn't do it, I don't see how Ngannou can do it. But if he goes out there and puts on a great performance or makes it somewhat close or even just survives for a decision, it's a W for Ngannou. He'll be looked at as a guy who went in there with the best of the best and was able to come out alive at least. But there is that possibility that we're like, oh, who is that guy, that UFC champion that left there and then got killed by Fury? Who was that guy again? There might be a little bit of a revisionist history where we look back at this and Ngannou made a big mistake in fighting Fury. But overall, right now, as we speak about this, this is a massive W for him and the entirety of his career. He will fight Fury in a huge spotlight and get his claim to fame. And if he does actually end up winning or putting out Fury, holy shit, just holy shit, his career, his life is set, done, match, it's checkmate. He beat the UFC, he beat all the odds, he'll be set for life, his kids will be set for life, his kids will be set for life, he'll have all the money he ever wants, he'll bring a lot of attention to the PFL and in MMA in general, and I couldn't want it more. Honestly, I'm an MMA fan first, boxing fan probably second, third. Honestly, MMA is up here for me, boxing's all the way down here. So if Ngannou ends up getting this upset win, which is going to be an upset, he will not be a favorite in odds. But if he gets this win, it's a great outcome for MMA. So in all honesty, I want Ngannou to win. I want him to succeed. I know even though it does kind of hurt the UFC somewhat, and it might lead a wave of UFC fighters wanting to venture out to other places to make more money. But in terms of just strictly talking about MMA and the possible outcome of it, this is a beneficial thing if Ngannou manages to win. I doubt he'll win though, and so I will kind of dive into the whole matchup and what will happen and my prediction about it. And I think Fury's going to TKO him probably fairly quickly. Ngannou's getting older. I believe he's 36, 37 years of age right now. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he is getting up there in age. And we've seen this in the past. MMA fighters, UFC fighters don't really transition too well when it comes to boxing. Boxers are always going to be superior in boxing because they're boxers. Obviously, MMA fighters don't only train boxing. So being a boxer entirely gives you the advantage. And when you're such a high level like Tyson Fury is, and a big guy, even bigger than Ngannou, I just see how he would have way more skill and be a way better boxer. Is going to probably embarrass Ngannou. I'm not 100% sure, but if Ngannou gets one knockdown, that's all he really needs to make sure that he keeps his name value. But I think at the end of the day, Tyson Fury is going to get an easy win against Ngannou, but hopefully Ngannou can go out there and prove that he can hang with the best. That's the best outcome, honestly. I mean, besides him winning, obviously, but the best outcome besides him winning will be him going out there and prove that he can hang with the best and give the MMA community some respect against boxers. Jake Paul is pretty much tarnished all respect for MMA and boxing, or MMA fighters in boxing. He's pretty much ruined that. Ben Askren, fuck you, Ben Askren. Nate Diaz is probably going to lose to Jake Paul as well. I don't see him really winning that as well. Tyron Woodley as well. You know, there's all these guys, all these MMA fighters or UFC fighters losing to Jake Paul has kind of tarnished the reputation of boxing or the skill level of UFC fighters. So if Ngannou goes out there and is able to put on a great performance against Tyson Fury, I can really see the boxing community giving a ton of respect to MMA as a whole. But in all honesty, I can really just see at some point Tyson Fury just really putting it on Ngannou, maybe in the second or third round, fourth round, depending on how many rounds it is. Just absolutely just sticking and moving, landing great shots on Ngannou, hitting him with jabs, and Ngannou just overthrowing hooks and trying to land shots that just don't land because obviously Tyson Fury has superior footwork and stuff like that. So that worries me. But if Ngannou does last to a decision and just gets pieced up the entire time, that wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't be too bad in all honesty. It would prove that he is very tough. He's a tough boxer or MMA fighter. But overall, it doesn't do too much for the stock of Ngannou. It might lower it just a little bit. Overall, I just don't really want to see Ngannou be known as the guy who got KO'd out cold in the first round. I do actually prefer this matchup over a Wilder one. That was in talks for us a little bit about Ngannou versus Wilder. So I do prefer this one. I think Wilder would KO Ngannou fairly quickly, quicker than Tyson Fury would. But this is honestly a better matchup for Ngannou because Tyson Fury is able to be hit and put down. His chin has been proven to not be as concrete. So Ngannou does have a puncher's chance to put Tyson Fury out of there, whereas Wilder will probably get to him first because, again, they're trained boxers. But great for Ngannou. Absolutely love it. I'm so stoked for this. The UFC is kind of struggling right now, and they're going to be even more shambles. So hopefully this pushes the UFC to do something better. With Mauro Bueno Silva and Holly Holm being the card this week, what the fuck is up with that? Ngannou putting some pressure on them again. Maybe we'll see a great outstanding card for October 28th. I wouldn't even be surprised if they move the Abu Dhabi card up to the 28th and just completely stack that. They might even put McGregor against Islam to make that shit work, to overshadow Ngannou. The UFC is going to do their best to try to get that matchup or try to overshadow Ngannou as much as possible. So hopefully we can see something amazing happen for the UFC, or maybe they can put something together that would be totally awesome and be just as equal to Ngannou versus Fury. But I really doubt that, and he might honestly just get the 28th just to himself, and that would be the best outcome for him. And all in all, I want him to win. Hopefully he wins. Hopefully he doesn't get sparked out cold, because it can ruin his career and people will forget about him, and he'll fight guys at PFL and nobody will ever watch him because he's at PFL. It's not an amazing promotion. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched up to this point, I appreciate you very, very much. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon as well for notifications. Let's go, Ngannou. I'm out of here. Peace.